instead of the important details, we want the important main ideas. The details sometimes are important, and especially in this book, which is mysterious, we don't know for sure which details are important. So, yes, we need details too. And your job this week?
Predictor.
Which means?
I predict stuff. I take pictures and clues from the book, and I predict what's going to happen next.
I like how you said you take clues from the book. You don't just make wild guesses, right? You have to use what we know so far, look at the pictures and the names of the chapters and things, and make guesses about what's going to happen next. Right.
We have to read a little faster in this book.
And
we have to send it home for homework.
No.
Why not?
And since Quentin's not here right now, he's supposed to be our clarifier who is supposed to clear things up when we're confused. Thank you for raising your hands to talk. Lauren, what?
Can I be the clarifier, Quentin?
Yes, you can be the sub-clarifier. Sydney?
You said you were going to tell me what books we're not going to do.
Okay, we'll do that at the end. Remind me. And John?
To get through faster, can you send this out on days for homework?
I have to clear that with Mrs. Peterson. Remember I told you these are not library books and they're not checked. There's no way to check them out. But I'll find out because definitely over Thanksgiving we're going to need to take these home.
Book.
Except for you, yeah. Okay, so our summarizer needs to tell us what we learned yesterday. You've got it in front of you and it's up here on the board so you can read it.
What if we can go to our local library and
That would be great if you could.
From Mr. Jesse.
Because I return, I have to return books.
Yeah, we're here on yesterday, 11/11/14. The people in the cafe.
People
You
in the
can read
cafe
along here.
were tense when the colonel entered because they are not sure how the colonel will handle Joe Starr. Dale suggested a reward for Mr. Jesse's boat return, but Mr. Jesse did not like that. So Mo convinced him to offer a finder fee of $10. Starr questioned the colonel about the Thunderbird, and he lied and said he had had it for a few years when he really had just got it a few days, right around the time of his murder. Also, Mo said he never lied. It wasn't Mo,
That was a lie?
Dale.
Oh, I thought it was Mo. Go on.
Chapter 3.
Wait, you didn't say Mr. Jesse acted nervous too.
Mr. Jesse acted nervous too when looking at the picture of the murder victim.
Okay.
Chapter 3. The 3-day rule. Mo is investigating her passion. She uses her bedroom as an office and posts all the clues she can gather, mainly about her upstream mother and
Who
why,
she is.
who she is and why her mother hasn't come to find her. Mo says she is a natural-born detective, and she is writing her own autobiography about her past.
All right. So that's where we left off. So we're in chapter 3.
On 29.
On 29. And she got that phone call, and the guy said, "I'm not your mom. I found your bottle." So she put a pin in saying, "Okay, my mom's not here."
That would make no sense because there's no more than 5,000 people in the state.
And we're smack in the middle of the page with, "How did I wind up short a mother?" Good question. Everybody have the spot?
Wait, okay, yeah.
Oh.
Thank you.
Mom's 11 years old.
You found it?
John
How?
doesn't have the spot.
John, have the spot, please.
You're welcome.
It's helpful to hear it and see it.
Yeah, that's what I do with the audio player.
Yeah.
Put it in.
It is helpful. John has, I will admit, John has super excellent listening skills. But it does help you learn the words if you see
Depends
them.
on what I'm listening to.
Please hold that. Scooch in and hold it. Thank
Allow
you.
me in the photo.
No whining.
Not boss me.
I'm ready.
Awesome.
I was born 11 years ago during one of the meanest hurricanes in history. That night, as people slept, they say, the rivers rose like a mutiny and pushed ashore, shouldering houses off foundations, lifting the dead from graves, gulping down lives like fresh shucked oysters. Some say I was born unlucky that night. Not me. I say I was 3 times lucky. Lucky once when my upstream mother tied me to a makeshift raft and sent me swirling downstream to safety. Lucky twice when the colonel crashed his car and stumbled to the creek just in time to snatch me from the flood. And lucky 3 times when Miss Lana took me in like I was her own and kept me. Why all that happened is mystery on a larger scale. Miss Lana calls it fate. Dale calls it a miracle. The colonel just shrugs and says, here we are.
I have a question.
Yes?
What does fate mean?
Some people... Yes?
Fate means it's your destiny.
But you're a clarifier.
But if she doesn't know, she's allowed to ask. And now I'm wondering if she knows what destiny means.
Oh.
Destiny's a name, right?
It can be a name, but it also has a meaning.
It's your
Your
future.
destination?
No, it's
Well, it's kind
it's
of
your
like your
fut-
destination. It's like what's going to happen to you.
It's your future.
Some people believe that things are meant to be the way they are, and whatever's going to happen to you is meant to be, and that's your fate. Other people don't believe that, but some people do.
I thought that was like an accent for the country for fate.
Oh, no, not in this case. Everybody okay? So Miss Lana, who said it was fate?
Miss.
Miss Lana.
Miss Lana calls it fate. Dale calls it a miracle. The colonel just shrugs and says, here we are. Behind my back, Anna Celeste Simpson, my sworn enemy for life, says I'm a throwaway kid with no true place to call home. So far, nobody's had the guts to say it to my face, but I hear whispers the way a knife thrower's assistant hears knives. I hate Anna Celeste Simpson. The colonel knocked on my open door and peeked in from the living room, his gray stubble glistening in the lamplight. Busy, soldier?
Hate is a strong word, and also,
I
When
say
it
it all
said-
the time.
when it said that, that she was like her enemy, I wonder, I have a prediction that, like, they're gonna end up becoming friends
Oh,
at the end.
I like it. We'll see.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
What was your
I'm curious about Anna Celeste Simpson because she says she really hates her and she's starting rumors about her.
She
I
said
think
she's a
gonna,
throwaway kid
yeah.
because she doesn't have a
I
home.
think she's gonna do something about it, and they're not gonna like it.
I think they're
Who's
gonna
going to do
fight.
something about it?
No.
Okay. Does anyone else share my question? How did she become enemies with Anna Celeste
I was
Simpson?
gonna say that.
Because that seems like,
I think-
what the heck? Is it because she says she's a throwaway kid? Or why is Anna Celeste Simpson so mean to her?
Because she might be one too.
Hold on, Sydney.
I think she's like, they're like enemies because maybe she's rich, Anna Celestial, and maybe, well, you can tell that she's kind of, I forgot, what's her name, Mo?
Mo?
Mo is kind of poor.
Hi, you're taking my job. Come over here.
Well, she's guessing the reason why they're enemies. Maybe she's predicting. Maybe this Anna is
How
rich
would Mo be poor?
and Mo is poor, but we don't know if Mo is poor or not, do we?
No, she's.
How would they have 4 Ford a Thunderbird. That's a really expensive dog.
Well, it's an old one with some letters missing.
But it's
I
at
don't
the
know.
end. At the end, it's gonna all come together and make
We're going to
sense.
find out. That's right. But summarizer, I do think we should put that part down about, we just learned some important stuff about Mo and her past. What did we get?
So
She was born the day of a hurricane. One of the worst hurricanes.
She was born during a hurricane.
and
She
she
thinks she
Hold
was
on, summarizer.
She thinks she was 3 times lucky because her mother strapped her to a sail
A raft.
raft upstream to get her away from the hurricane. And then second lucky was that the colonel crashed his car and ran just fast enough down to the water to scoop her up before it flooded. And 3 times lucky that Miss what's the mom?
Lana.
Lana brought her in to be in her family.
The colonel crashed his car right by the river and saved her. And Lana took her in and kept her as her own, right?
Yep.
So she thinks she was 3 times lucky because her mother put her on a raft to help her escape. The colonel crashed his car right by the river and saved her. And Lana took her in and kept her as her
Miss
own.
Lana.
Miss Lana.
Miss
Sorry.
Lana.
Sorry.
Look at this. It goes white,
Whoops.
orange, white.
Okay. We've got a lot of questions and predictions in our minds. Let's keep going. The colonel had just knocked on her door and peeked in and said, "Busy, soldier?" "Sorry, sir," I said, closing my notebook. "I'm contemplating an intro to Volume 6. It's top secret." "I'm sure I haven't got the clearance," he said, "but as a dedicated member of your mess crew, I'm contemplating popcorn. Thoughts?" "Excellent strategy, sir," I hesitated. "Colonel, has Miss Lana checked in?" "Not yet," he said. "She only left this morning. We're nowhere near the 3-day rule." Miss Lana and I made the 3-day rule last year after the colonel got turned around in the Appalachians and didn't check in for a week. Miss Lana went frantic, dragging half the town along with her. Now, whenever he or Miss Lana leaves, which is often, the 3-day rule automatically kicks in. It's a no-brainer for Miss Lana, who naturally checks in almost every day. When she leaves, she visits her cousin Gideon in Charleston. Usually they shop. Twice last year, she took me with her. I have the plaid sneakers to prove it. The 3-day rule's harder on the colonel. When he leaves to sleep under the stars, usually on a mountainside or at the seashore. Cell service along North Carolina's wild fringes remains as patchy as it is here in Tupelo Landing, where, except for scratchy blips, we ain't got none. For him, calling every 3rd day is a tribulation. That means it's hard. The colonel glanced at my phone. "Lana loves talking to you, soldier," he said. "I believe you have Cousin Gideon's number." "Yes, sir, I've it seared into my brain," I said, "but I don't want to overdial." He nodded and slipped back into the living room. I opened Volume 6, skipping the intro in favor of a quick note to Upstream Mother. I've been writing to her ever since I learned to print. Volume 2. I used to think she could somehow read my unsent letters. Now, of course, I know she can't. I still write, partly out of habit and partly to settle my thoughts. Besides, my teacher, Miss Retzel, says personal letters make rich research material for autobiographies. In my case, an obvious plus. I picked up my pen. "Dear Upstream Mother, Miss Retzel claims that my vast experience in discovering where you're not helps me zero in